So what if I were to tell you you could get this watch right here for under $120? Are you interested? Well, then stick around, watch this review, and then decide for yourself if this is something you want to spend your money on. Okay, so here we have the Aragon Caprice. This is the NH35 edition. They have several different editions that you can pick from. But before we get into the watch, let's just go over a little bit of the history. So Aragon watches goes back to 1991. So this is a micro brand that's been around for a while. So this was founded by Wing Liang, and they are based out of Deerfield Beach, Florida. So again, this is an American micro brand. Right now, the price on this is $109, and the shipping is pretty fast. Now, you'd have to pay for the shipping. I think it's like $12, but I'm going to leave a link to the website so that you can look at these yourself and make your own decision. So let's just go ahead and get into the specs and so forth and get on with this. So right now we are looking at a case diameter of 44 millimeters, and that is a lug-to-lug width of 49 millimeters. There is a lug width of 22 millimeters, and the crystal that is on here is a K1 crystal. Now, if you don't know anything about K1 crystal and whatever, it's a mineral crystal that has been hardened a little bit more and strengthened, so it's stronger than a mineral crystal. It's a lot more shatter resistant than sapphire, and a lot more scratch resistant than K1 than a standard mineral crystal. So it's a little bit better. So think of it as an upgraded mineral. Anyway, so the weight on this guy is 102 grams on the strap. You have a water resistance of 200 meters, and this is using the Seiko NH35, hence the name, the Capri NH35. Anyway, let's go into the case. So the case we have here is stainless steel, all stainless steel. There's horizontal brushing all the way around this. There's not a polished surface on this at all. This thing is just very utilitarian looking. It feels tough. It feels rugged. It looks purpose-built. This thing is just saying to me, tool watch. The case flows really well, I think, and it looks really good on my 6.5-inch wrist. So although it looks really large, like this, when you put it on, it actually flows really well. Now, it is a little bit on the thicker side, as I mentioned, but I think overall it looks really good. Now, we do have an exhibition case back here that you'll see, and you can see the NH35 movement. Now, you have the etching on the back. That's the typical stuff, water resistance, movement, things of that nature. So let's go ahead and flip over here now, and let's take a look at the crown. That's a pretty nice looking crown. It's got a lot of grip on it. It's easy to grip. It's just, large. Look at the size of that thing. It's just sticking out of the side of the watch. Like, here I am. Anyway, it's not signed at all, but it is lume filled. And you'll see some of that in the lume shots that I have later on. Now, first glance, when I'm starting to look at the dial, things like that, this thing is like super easy to read. It is very, very easy to read. You can just glance down and you can see it right away. You do have your Arabics at the 12, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. And then the slim batons are at the odd numbers, so 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11. Now, I'm going to give you some close-up shots better than what you're going to see here, but the dial surface is actually textured. It kind of looks like a little bit like a rocky surface. And it does look like to me that the numbers, the Arabics, and the batons on this look to be pressed from the bottom of the dial and pressed upwards, so it's like it's been punched through. And it really kind of gives the watch more, in my opinion, more of a feel of like, kind of like a rugged mountain range or, something like that. So yeah, it looks really good that way. And I think that was done intentionally. I really like the way this looks altogether. Seriously, when I watched the initial review of this on the Aragon website, I was just like, wow, this is an amazing watch. You're just going to love this. Now, you're going to notice here, too, that the chapter ring itself, it slopes upward. And you'll notice on the chapter ring that you'll have the increments of 5, so 5, 10, 15, 20, all the way around till we get to the 12 o'clock marker, which would be the 60. On the top of the chapter ring, they put the indices. And I think this is really a really great idea, and I think this is wonderful that he did this because it makes the dial so much easier to read now. They've pulled all of this other information, and they've put it on the top of the dial and really spread the dial out. So now you can just look at the dial and you can see it. You do have a triangle at the 12 o'clock position. Now, the 12 at this 12 o'clock position, I would say that this triangle probably should have been a little bit bigger than it is, but I think it's really great for what it is. Now, let's see, let's go down here and take a look at the date window. So at the 3 o'clock position, we do have an outline date window, and that's really nice. I always think date windows need to be just a tad larger, but, you know, your mileage may vary. You may want something different. So let's go on to the hands of this watch now. These are really thick baton hands. Look at the size of those things. Those things are huge. So you've got, you know, the batons at the hour, minute, and then the second hand has kind of this needle look to it. It almost looks like a needle because the counterbalance on the other end, you'll notice, is a circle. Now, what I really like about this watch is, specifically the hands, is that I like the way that the loom is filled on this watch, on the batons, because it's like they made it even. So I'm having a hard time putting it into words, but as the second hand crosses over the hour hand and over the minute hand, the loom ends in exactly the same place. So, you know, the second hand doesn't have too much loom. So a lot of attention to detail, I feel like, was paid in this case to this particular handset. So I think it's really good right there. So again, this is loomed on the numbers, the batons, the hands, and the triangle, like I said, is loomed as well. But you know, it's not ultimately the best. So you're going to see right now the loom test that I did on this, and you'll see it's not as good as it could be, but you make that decision for yourself. All right, so here we have the Aragon on the left and the steel dive is on the right. Steel dive is there for comparison, obviously. And they are both coated in super luminova, and you can see on the left-hand side there's a little glow. That's the loom pip on the crown of the Aragon. But as you can tell right away out of the gate, the Aragon is just not doing quite so well versus the steel dive. That steel dive is just coated for what seems like days in luminescence. And the Aragon, the first thing that we're seeing go right now are the hands. And as slowly over time, you're watching it right in front of you just fade out. I mean, it just does not have the luminescence that something like the steel dive does. So I really would think that if for the Aragon, you might want to consider putting a little bit more loom on that watch and just really beef that up a little bit more, because it's just not able to compete at this point. So yeah, sorry Aragon, not today. Okay, so you can tell that loom test just did not go well, especially when compared to the steel dive. The steel dive, I don't know what it is. I don't know how they did it, but they did it, and that's just the insane amount of loom. Anyway, we're talking about this watch, so let's get back to it. So let's go take a look at the strap on this watch. The strap on this watch is looks like it's a rubber. I'm pretty sure this is a rubber strap that you'll see here, but it's been coated with some nylon. Not coated, but there's a layer of nylon on the top, and on the bottom of the watch it looks like there's some leather right there, and it's been stitched in. And then you have another layer of leather right here where the holes for the watch band go to, you know, reinforce it, make it look a little bit better. I think that looks really good on there. Coming over here to this end of the watch right here, you're going to see the buckle. Looks really good. It's signed. It says Aragon on it. Again, the watch and the watch band, the buckle, just kind of everything about this thing just feels super, super utilitarian. And it feels just, you know, it feels real strong and sturdy on the wrist. So, yeah, I think overall this is a really good, something you might want to take a look into. So let me give you my final thoughts and my conclusions, and then, you know, you take it from there. So let's talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. And then I'll give you my final thoughts on this. So what did I think was really good about this watch? Well, I think it's really well built. I think it's very purpose driven. And I think this overall just has a really cohesive, great look to it. The other thing that I liked about it, it's got an NH35 movement in it. That thing is rock solid. It's just going to work all day long. And the last thing that I liked about it was the dial, the texture on the dial. It is just really awesome. I loved the way it looked. I loved the way that the numbers look like they're coming up out of the dial. I just think it was great. I find myself staring at the watch and thinking, wow, this is a nice looking watch. Anyway, so what's the bad? What didn't I quite like? Well, lume. Let's face it. I really am just a stickler for lume. I don't know why, but I just like being able to look at my watch at night and being able to read it. And ever since I got that steel dive, nothing can compare to it. That steel dive is just, it's got crazy lume on it. But anyway, so what did I think was ugly about this watch? Well, I don't know that I'd really call it ugly, but I'd say drilled lugs. Please put drilled lugs on watches, on the lugs. Please, it makes changing the straps so much easier and so much faster. And you can really give your watch a whole bunch of different looks without having to struggle so much for it. So overall, what do I think about this watch? Do I think it's worth $109? Absolutely. For $109, you're getting a great watch with a lot of great features in it. So I'm going to leave a link below. And if you want to go check one of these out, go for it. And while you're there, why don't you leave me a comment below and let me know what your thoughts are on this Aragon Caprice. And please consider leaving a like and subscribe for more content like this. And if you're interested in looking at some other watches that I've reviewed, click over here and check some of these out. Thanks for watching.